Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about something that I was looking forward to for a long time, that being Yuna's solo debut. I surprisingly have a lot of thoughts on it, so let's just jump into it. During early March, it was announced that Itzy's Yuna was preparing for her solo debut, making her the second member of the group to do so following Yeji's Air released in 2025. I made a reaction video to it last year, but I'm thinking about making a video talking about it again, cause I have some more thoughts now that I've been sitting with it for a while. Moving along, to me it was always very clear that Yuna was going to have a solo. She just has that star quality, that undimmable light, that magnetic aura that captures you and locks you in. Being fully honest, I never doubted that she would do well, but I was afraid it wouldn't be up my alley. Her solo song, Yet But, from Itzy's Born to Be, was not really my favorite. I felt that her delivery was a bit too high-pitched, teetering on whiny. I also felt that thematically they could have given her something different. To my surprise, Ice Cream isn't that strong of a departure from her previous solo, however, this really does feel more appropriate or worthy of being an official solo debut. Speaking of which, the album was released on March 23, 2026, consisting of 4 songs with a runtime of around 12 minutes. Similarly to Yeji, she also got an English version of the title track. However, Yuna got an entire remix EP. For the purposes of this video, we won't be covering that, so let's just get started with the title track. Ice Cream. Opening the album, we have the title track, Ice Cream, a bubblegum pop track about seizing the moment, enjoying romantic infatuation, and living in the present before it melts away. The song is sweet, smooth, and addictive, fitting for the ice cream theming. Lyrically, it does a great, albeit cliche job of comparing their love, attraction, and time to ice cream, telling this person to leave their worries behind and explicitly stating, quote, "Time is like ice cream. It's going to be for a moment." The second verse is a bit flirtier, but also a bit more impatient. They ask this person if they want their love to just say it, stating, "Why are you waiting? Ain't got no time to waste. Don't worry, baby. Come on, take a bite." Showcasing that the narrator's affection, like ice cream, also has an expiration date. If the listener doesn't hurry, it'll be gone. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love this song. I listen to it and the album at least 3 to 4 times a day. And this track in particular has something about it that just feels so satisfying to listen to. Her delivery paired with the instrumentation mixed in with the production just feels perfect. Genuinely, to me this is almost a flawless track, which makes my one gripe with it almost insignificant. I wish the song had a bridge. Even though the song is almost 3 minutes, I selfishly wish she had the opportunity to take the song elsewhere. But at the same time, I love how uniform the song is. It's almost hypnotic in its structure. The repeated sections do their job of getting stuck in your head, and if they were broken up by a bridge, maybe it would be less effective. Or, if they added even more repetition to make up for it, it could cross over to too much. So now I'm sort of caught between a rock and a hard place, because I can see the vision, but I can also see how that can backfire. Overall, an amazing solo debut. I feel they were able to capture Yuna's unique charm and allure while keeping her girly princess-like persona intact. If I were still rating songs out of 10, this one would have received a 12. BBoy. Next up, we have BBoy, an upbeat, dreamy, almost shiny song with hip-hop and Jersey Club influences. This song to me feels like an early 2000s girly shopping game soundtrack in the best way. I can picture myself playing a dress-up game, or style sabi. You're a real one if you know that. Lyrically, it talks about sharing this emotional freedom or weightless love through dancing. It focuses on letting go of reality and creating a unpretentious dance with a partner, emphasizing freedom, connection, and joy. She describes a, quote, dreaming dance where emotional barriers are removed, allowing for a pure connection. The song also uses imagery of defying gravity, no wicked, and gliding through the clouds to represent the euphoria of being with someone special. As for the title itself, from what I gathered from Googling, it and the repeated refrain refers to a person involved in breaking or breakdancing and broader hip-hop culture, reinforcing a shared passion for the genre, its culture and dance, framing the relationship as a fun, active partnership. Clearly, I do not partake in breakdancing. I fear I would in fact break something if I tried, whether that be something in my body or around it. Jokes aside, this song as well as the others have that space-like quality to them that really tie them together. In general, I really enjoyed this song. I wasn't expecting the change up in the chorus, but it was a welcome change, as well as the bridge. I was genuinely afraid the album would follow current trends and omit bridges from their songs, but to my surprise, I was mistaken. I have to add, the pre-chorus is so good. The beat mixed with the backing vocals just makes me want to move. Truly another stellar track. Blue Maze. Following that up, we have Blue Maze. Hands down, my favorite track on the album. It opens up with these shimmering crystal-like sounds and a voice saying, "Oh sweet," setting up this ethereal underwater vibe. The song itself is a dreamy, synth-pop influenced track that uses water and ocean imagery to describe the deep, inescapable experience of falling into complex emotions. The maze serves as a metaphor for complicated feelings of love that are beautiful yet easy to get lost in. Rather than trying to escape, the lyrics suggest a desire to sink deeper and stay within that dreamlike state. She invites the listener to, quote, "fall into me," stating that you can't escape. A sweet fragrance under the moonlight, you'll fall in before you realize it. There's a sense of confidence, but also danger, positioning Yuna as an almost siren-like creature who's luring in the listener, saying in the pre-chorus, "I know you feel the same when your lips call my name. Follow the warm voice and dive in. Come to me." Inviting the listener to immerse themselves in her, almost hypnotizing them by commanding them to sleep a little deeper. The lyrics do a great job of blending a sense of fantasy with a sense of danger or subtle warning, noting that, quote, "shimmering things are danger, but one still chooses to take the bait because the feeling is so alluring." Add to that, she describes herself as a shimmering face beneath the rippling surface, telling us that she is the danger whilst pulling us in. This song is truly an experience. If you haven't heard it with headphones on, you're missing out. It's got certain aspects of city pop, neo-soul, synthwave, and it just feels tailor-made for her and targeted at me. The instrumental in the background throughout most of the song consists of this choppy sort of vocalization that makes it feel like you're listening to something underwater, adding to the hypnotic atmosphere. Couple that with the few moments that part cuts out, it makes it feel like coming up for air, breaking the immersion for a second, only to be drawn back in. Did I mention this is my favorite song? Wow. From the second I heard it, I fell in love with it. I could literally talk about it forever. I didn't even mention how satisfying and addictive the chorus repetition is. The way she sings, shimmering face. It has been stuck in my head. And also, this song has a bridge that I completely forgot to mention. Genuinely, this checks all my boxes. If you're gonna listen to any of the songs besides the title track, please consider this one. Hyperdream. Closing out the album, we have Hyperdream, an upbeat experimental pop song that explores the idea of escaping into a limitless, vivid world of imagination. The lyrics describe a, quote, hyperdream state of mind where borders and boundaries disappear. Time seems to have stopped and reality is repainted with bright colors and emotions. During the chorus, Yuna sings about a fantasy-like sweet night where she and a partner free dive into a galaxy-like space. The line, "it's not just a daydream," suggests that the emotions felt in this fantasy are powerful enough to feel and become real. The song itself is filled with references to space, clouds, and the galaxy, truly tying in the galactic or space feeling throughout most of the songs. Sonically, it's a mixture of disco pop, tech house, and synth pop. Basically, it's engineered to get you moving. But I have to be honest, on my first few listens, this wasn't my favorite track. Because of the immediate love I felt for Blue Maze, this one felt a bit lackluster by comparison. However, now that I've sat with it for much longer than your average person probably has, it really grew on me. Not in a Stockholm Syndrome type of way, but in a way where I've grown to appreciate its place as an album closer. It's still not my favorite track, but I definitely wouldn't skip it. Final album thoughts. Honestly, I'm genuinely surprised by just how cohesive this mini album turned out to be, both sonically and thematically. Going into it, I was honestly a little annoyed by the short track list. Quick side tangent for a sec, why does JYPE keep giving the Itzy girls these tiny mini albums? The Twice members got 7, 6, 9 tracks, while the Itzy girls are over here rationing songs like it's the apocalypse. I understand they're not their biggest moneymaker, but still. With Yeji solo, my biggest issue was that the project felt too short. I left feeling like she hadn't been given enough room to fully explore her concept or establish her own musical identity outside of the group. But after hearing Ice Cream, I almost feel even sadder about that situation because this mini proves that you actually can build a compelling, fleshed out world with just 4 songs. That's what impressed me the most here. Every track feels intentional. Nothing feels like filler or like it was thrown on the album just to inflate the runtime. Each song contributes something different while still fitting under the same dreamy, glittery, slightly surreal umbrella. There's this consistent atmosphere throughout the mini that blends sweetness, fantasy, flirtation, and this almost cosmic sense of escapism. Even when the genres shift between bubblegum pop, synth pop, disco pop, Jersey Club influences, and city pop inspired moments, it never feels disjointed. And honestly, that's becoming rarer and rarer in K-pop. Like I've mentioned previously, a lot of mini albums and projects nowadays just feel more like playlists rather than actual projects. You get one title track establishing the concept, and then the rest of the songs are just vibes pulled from completely different folders on a producer's laptop. But Ice Cream genuinely feels curated. It feels like someone sat down and thought about how these songs would exist together. Do I still wish we got more songs? Absolutely. I'm selfish. Give me 7 tracks. Give me a full album. Lock Yuna in the studio and let her cook. But at the same time, I also recognize that adding more songs could have disrupted what makes this project work so well. Similar to the point I made earlier about wanting a bridge in Ice Cream, more content doesn't automatically equal a better experience. Sometimes, restraint is what keeps something feeling polished and replayable instead of bloated. And oh, is this album replayable. Speaking of replayability, I'm honestly amazed by how perfectly this mini aligns with my ideal album structure. You have a fantastic title track, strong B-sides, a standout atmospheric song that emotionally anchors the project, obviously, Blue Maze for me, and the brighter, more energetic closer to send you off on a high note. It's such a satisfying listening experience from beginning to end that I find myself replaying the whole thing instead of just cherry-picking tracks, even if there aren't many to pick from. And that to me is the mark of a genuinely successful mini album. More than anything though, I think this debut succeeded because it actually feels authentic to Yuna. They didn't try to force her into some ultra mature girl crush CEO concept just because she's older now. They leaned into her natural strengths, her charm, her brightness, her playful energy, her elegance, and elevated them into something more refined and immersive. The result feels youthful and dreamy without being childish, and glamorous without losing personality. To me, this is exactly what a solo debut should do. It should make you feel like you're seeing a new side of an artist while also making complete sense for who they already are, and Ice Cream absolutely accomplished that. The Future for Yuna. Honestly, after hearing this mini, I can fully see Yuna cementing herself as one of the defining it girls of her generation. And not just because she's gorgeous, which obviously she is, but because it actually feels like she has a strong artistic identity forming around her. That's something I wasn't fully expecting. Going into this debut, I thought the biggest selling point would be simply Yuna herself, her visuals, charisma, stage presence, and popularity. But what surprised me is that the music actually strengthened and expanded her image instead of just relying on it. This mini gave her a world to exist in. There's this very specific atmosphere surrounding her sound now. It's glittery and hyper-feminine, but also dreamy, spacey, and slightly eerie underneath all the sweetness. Like you're floating through some sparkly galaxy mall at 2 AM while simultaneously being lured into the ocean by a siren. Which, now that I say that out loud, sounds insane, but you get what I mean. There's a duality there that I think makes her really compelling as a soloist, because she's able to embody this bubbly, princess-like energy while still carrying an underlying sense of mystery or seduction. Songs like Ice Cream lean more playful and addictive, while Blue Maze reveals this darker, hypnotic edge to her artistry that I genuinely wasn't expecting. And if she continues developing that contrast, I think she could carve out a really unique lane for herself. what excites me the most is the amount of room she still has to grow. This debut already feels surprisingly polished, but it also feels like the beginning of something rather than the final form. She could lean further into city pop and synthwave influences. She could do more dreamy R&B. She could explore darker, ethereal concepts, brighter hyperpop sounds, or even more emotionally vulnerable material. The foundation is strong enough that there are so many directions she could take without losing her identity. And in my opinion, that's the sign of a promising soloist. Plus, let's be real. The general public is always going to pay attention to Yuna. She has that rare kind of celebrity aura where even people who don't actively follow the group still know who she is. Add good music on top of that, and suddenly you're not relying on popularity anymore, you're building longevity. Which is why I really hope JYP treats this debut as the start of a long-term solo career instead of just like a one-time side project between group comebacks. Because based on the quality of this mini, there's genuinely something special here worth investing in. And if this is what Yuna sounds like at the beginning of her solo journey, I honestly can't wait to see what she does next. But that's enough for me. I hope you guys enjoyed my ramblings about this album. I forgot to mention it in the script, but I also bought this one on pre-order to support my girl, and I'm so glad I did. I can add this to my collection next to Yeji and Itzy's albums. So, thank you guys so very much for watching. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Click that bell icon so you're notified every time I post a video. Tell me in the comments down below, what song was your favorite? Mine was clearly Blue Maze. And also, are you excited for her to put out more music in the future? Cause I know I am. Remember that I love you all so much, and I'll see you very, very soon. Bye!